Testimony of an ex-witch. Dear brothers and dear friends, we are pleased to share with you this testimony of Fernanda Rodrigues dos Santos of Angola, who spent several years serving Satan, and who had the grace to escape alive, by giving her life to Christ. This testimony is short but very rich. Before coming to Jesus Christ, I loved men. I wanted to be loved and wooed by more men than others. This is what led me not only to consult a witch but to also become one. In order to achieve my goals, I chose to go and consult these witches who sell love potions, a drink prepared according to the rules of witchcraft or magic to attract men. I bought a powder. I had to rub my body with this powder for 2 weeks without bathing. After these 2 weeks, I got excellent results. When the effects of the powder died down, I went back to the lady with some friends. But the lady had the powder no more. She then suggested we accompany her to meet a gentleman. This gentleman explained to us that he was going to make us chew a leaf, and after that, he warned, there would be no turning back. We all chewed the leaf. He asked us to come back at dawn. Once at home, I told my mother that a friend was celebrating her birthday. She granted me permission to attend the birthday party. Actually, I went and waited in front of the door of the school where we had an appointment. Then, at the appointed time, the man arrived with a broom. We were afraid at the beginning, but he asked us to get on his broom. So strange a thing, we all 6, because we were 5 girls, climbed on this broom. The broom rose and dropped us in a cemetery. Once in the cemetery, the gentleman began to light candles and invoke spirits over a grave. Suddenly a large box came out of this tomb. In this box, which was actually a coffin, there was a corpse. Each of us had sex with this corpse in her turn. After that, the gentleman made some incantations and the coffin entered into the tomb by itself. Thereafter, the tomb closed up by itself before our eyes. He then continued making some invocations and the candles were extinguished by themselves. Then we left the cemetery and went to a house that was near the cemetery. There was a baby there. The gentleman killed the child and asked us to drink his blood. From then on, we became different, no longer ordinary human beings, and we had another spirit. We were now real witches and we were working with demonic spirits. When I returned home, I had any respect for neither my father nor my mother, and no respect for my neighbors too. Evil was in me. Later, the spirits asked me to bring 2 children. My aunt had twins. I went to my aunt's house. I prepared some baby's cereals for the children and I added a powder which was given to me in the cemetery. I handed this cereal to my aunt who gave it to her children. But before that, I got out of there and I told her that I had a problem at home. I had to leave because I did not want to see that I was killing these children. After 2 or 3 days, the children died. After that, the spirits asked me to give them 1,500 people. Yes, you heard well, 1,500 souls. In fact, it is easy to give 1,500 souls in one day with witchcraft. I had to obey. I managed to find these people in several ways in one day. On the roads, in the streets, at work, at school, I designated friends, etc. On the roads, it was enough to pour some powder obtained during the ritual in the cemetery. It works exactly like a fishing net. We had to fish for men until we reached 1,500 souls in one day. The effect of this powder is to disturb the driver. Any cars that crossed this powder got involved in an accident on the spot or further away. That would kill 5 to 10 people on the spot per vehicle. In the streets, we fished souls through fights. I could provoke disputes by disturbing people's minds. Then through my witchcraft power, I could incite one of the people fighting in the streets to say, "I will kill you." This sentence entered the body of the person, and when later he punched, he killed the person with whom he was fighting. Then I would slip away, leaving the person who killed into the hands of the crowd and the police. And I was already looking for other souls with the other 4 girls who were working with me. I would approach people who used to drink beer or alcohol. If I knew the name of the person, I would take an empty bottle, write the name of the person and I put it into the bottle. Then I would bury this bottle, with incantations, and these people would die. At the end of the day, we had the number of souls sought. Then we had to go to the sea with 10 eggs. I threw these eggs one by one into the sea, and then a queen came out. She spoke to us, "Are you ready?" "Yes, we are ready for anything that can happen." "Okay, are you ready to give your utmost?" "Yes." She asked us to swear. We swore and signed a pact between 5 girls and the queen. Then she took us under the water where we were surprised to realize that there was a huge city. Many people find themselves chained as slaves, working for witchcraft in the sea. Then we met a king there. He encouraged us to continue what we were doing. They gave us a garment, explaining that it was necessary to use it during several missions. If we had to fly or kill someone, it had to be done with the gray garment they gave us. They gave us a little black dress. When I wore it, it became a long black dress. It was for the most important missions. All missions were to be fulfilled with these clothes. Then they gave us drugs. I had to tie a lace at the waist as a belt. It has incantations, which prevented me from being caught. A cord helped me kill 3 people at once. A box served as an invocation of spirits. When I wanted them to appear, I inserted a cross in this box 3 times. They gave us salt produced from human bodies, human bones and blood, and a powder a bit orange that we poured on the roads to cause accidents. We had barks that came from the cemetery. They were used to cure many diseases, in fact they do not cure, and another bark was given by the spirits, which serves for several purposes: invoke spirits, bind somebody's life, preventing the person from flourishing, finding a job, loving and simply moving forward in life. I had a jewel that served as an ultimate protection. Even when I was caught, they released me as if I were innocent. I spread leaves in houses. As soon as someone trampled upon them, he constantly fell ill. It may also happen that somebody who had walked on these leaves never had children. We also used nails. Each nail represented a bound person. We hammered these nails in walls, in the whole city. If somebody removes one of these nails, then the person bound by that nail automatically dies. We had a bag which we used as a bank. When I needed money, I would put this bag under my pillow, and when I woke up it was full of money that had to be spent on the same day since it would disappear on the next day. We went to Myoma, and once there, we invoked the spirits. Coffins opened. A statue turned into somebody. She explained that many people know her only in her statue form, statue of the Virgin Mary, but that she was real, actually a demon. So, almost all those who worshipped her belonged to her. They belonged to our kingdom. At home, I would bewitch my mother. I would put things in water and she would refuse me nothing I asked for, including money. Since I could not properly use the money of the spirits, I would take it from my mother. Money of the spirits only served to drink in bars. I was wicked, and I could not put up with anyone. I was aggressive in the streets, in the neighborhood. In the world of darkness, my name Fernanda was not used. They said that the meaning of that name did not suit them, so I became Bruna. They once again asked me to sacrifice many souls. Then they promoted me after having washed me, anointed me, blessed and consecrated me to the Queen. In the service of the Queen, we had to win souls, neutralize and fight the prayer life of Christians. We had an arsenal of evil objects for women. All that has a link with fashion, lipstick, modern clothes, false hair, etc. Every woman who used these gifts or things we sold could not pray or concentrate in prayer. The person could even fast and pray a lot, but it did not go anywhere, for she had accepted a gift from the enemy that she voluntarily carried with her. 1 Timothy 2:9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array. We also entered into several churches where we would identify the true workers of God. Since we could not reach them directly because of the Spirit of God, we would identify weak people in their group. For example, if there is somebody in their prayer group living in sin, usually sexual sins, those who have sexual intercourse out of marriage are many in the churches, we would act through the one who is totally accessible because of sin, until as the days went by the group and communities would break out through disputes and quarrels. We constantly looked for a fault to bring down the sons of God. We would send money to pastors, gifts after an inquiry about what they like. Once the pastor accepts one of our gifts, he automatically becomes someone else, he loses his anointing. We could also act through his wife if the pastor had refused. And if his wife refused the gifts, we could enter through their children. We were constantly looking for doors through the weak to reach and bring down the stronger. Apart from our actions as human agents, I saw demons going in churches that do not have the fire of God and sit on the shoulders of the faithful in order to provoke drowsiness, laziness as regards listening. When there are children in the church, they would excite them so that they make noise. He who preaches is no longer heard. I was still a teenager at that time. I had several men in my life and I became pregnant several times. I aborted 3 times. The 4th time, when I wanted to put an end to the pregnancy, the spirits told me that they needed the child in their world. When the child was born, I saw someone coming under the guise of my cousin. I knew that she was not the one, but a disguised spirit who came to look for the child. The spirit went to the sea with this child, and I do not know what they did. To tell you the truth, I myself sacrificed many people, including a majority of children. I especially needed the blood of little children because spiritually it is fresh blood. We were more interested in newborn babies. There are things difficult to explain, but just for you to understand, a 2-month-old baby here on earth, in the spiritual world of darkness he is 15 to 20 years old. So they need very young children for sacrifices. One day we went to the house of a Christian who prayed a lot. She would disturb our world very much, she would set trouble in our activities when I rose up at dawn to fly away. That person prayed at the very time when we were to go out. Perhaps, she was disturbing without knowing it, hundreds and thousands of wizards who were about to go out spiritually. One day we went to her house to attack her. At 10 p.m., she was already praying. We were not able to do anything in her house. Then we went to the cemetery to attack from a distance, we could not do anything there either. The devil is really powerless in front of people like her, that is, true Christians. The devil cannot even touch the coffin of the one who died being a true Christian because God protects his corpse. There can be no spiritual activity on this corpse as it is the case with other corpses where, as soon as the person is buried, begin very dense activities on a single corpse. I would suck a lot of blood, both of the living and of the dead. I liked it because it increased my power. Sometimes I took children home to play, but in reality, it was a trick to suck their blood, their vital energy. Many people were dying because of me. When I had a love affair, the young man ended up dying. I also helped spirits in parties and nightclubs. Many of these spirits incarnated, and wore very long clothes, for they have no legs. They are spirits of another world. There are many in the world of the night. I happened to have excited people, to provoke fights and to get them to use a knife to kill themselves. All the romantic relationships I had always ended up in this way for the boy. Either he joined the world of darkness like me or he would die. Talking about men, I had them, indeed a lot. There is one thing, which is called Myoma, it is real and true. Myoma is the ability to kill someone without actually killing him. There is no vocabulary to describe this, perhaps a distant comparison. When you hear patients talking about how they were flying over their beds or in the hospital during their surgical operations or when they were in a coma, it gets closer to that. It is possible through witchcraft to split someone and make him prisoner and slave labor in the world of darkness without his physical body. In very rare cases, it is possible for the person to come back, but generally, this person will die a slave in an invisible world. We do not need a physical body to die. This is Myoma. These people are tied up with very big chains. I saw a lot of people there, victims of Myoma. To kill, I would use journeys. Even if the person did not want to travel, I could influence him spiritually, and then when the person took a transport agency, he died in an accident. The car in which he found himself violently knocked another car. Then with incantations, we took the blood and soul of the person. When customers came to consult us, under the weight of their problems and told us things like, "I have so many worries that I wish I were dead." Then later I went into that person's body, and I swallowed drugs. Sometimes I would strangle him with a rope and I strongly tied it, and when the person was about to die, I would go out of his body. I happened to notice that the person did not want to die and regretted his words, but it was too late. As soon as we heard people saying that kind of thing, it was finished for them. That soul was ours and we offered it as a sacrifice. They would promise us, we agents for this other world, that after death everything will be wonderful for us. Moreover, we saw the hidden world, we were sure to go there eternally after death. In our logic, obeying the spirits and not having remorse was normal. Everything was good in our eyes, we were not bad. We were workers, good servants of the spirits, the queen and the devil. I progressed and I was promoted. From now on, I had everything I wanted. If I wanted a phone that nobody owned in the neighborhood, I just had to ask and the phone would appear. Overnight I had everything I wanted. When they offered me to become very rich, I did not feel the need, all I wanted was to kill. I loved killing and nothing else. I collaborated with a spirit called Trankarua, an exugadera spirit, a spirit that is both man and woman. This last spirit permitted me to do terrible things. When a couple was about to sleep together, I would put myself between them. I would possess either the woman or the man, and it was with me that one or the other would have sexual intercourse. The fluids went into the world of darkness. Having sex out of marriage exposes you to all these things. I could also turn myself into a husband or a night woman, in order to excite people during their sleep and to have sex with men and women who often believe they are dreaming. This would bind them in the world of darkness. Sometimes I would find myself in a house where I saw a mother shouting at her child, "You worth nothing, one would not think that you come out of my womb." Then we had the right to make use of these curses, and we reported these sentences to our master. From that day, this child is under the curse of his parent and belongs to us. Either this child will eventually become one of us, or we make of him an instrument of despair and frustration for life. I still wanted to be promoted. I wanted to be a queen. I wanted to be more than zombies. Zombies are small spirits. I wanted that these little spirits live in me so that I become powerful. The more I had spirits in me, the more I used their power. When I had these spirits, things did not work out as I thought, because I got converted. One of the girls with whom we had sex in the cemetery had converted. When she was converted, nothing happened again for her. She spoke of the Spirit of God, but I said to myself that it does not exist. She told me that Jesus exists and that we could live freely, but that did not interest me. As for the devil, even at my level, I had never seen him closely. During very important meetings, we could see him but at a very long distance. He especially uses his ministers. The day I made a pact with him, his men took things and fingerprints of my 2 hands, and I do not know what they did with them. In the other world, I was married to my uncle. I also saw my father there. I had a child with my uncle and I slept with my own father in the world of darkness. This was necessary for certain rituals. Concerning the scars I have on my body, it happened to me one day when we were going to provoke a Christian woman at her home. But she was in a fasting period with her church. I do not know the church she attended, but I can tell you that when we got to her home in her absence we were burned and we barely had time to run away. One day my mother asked me to accompany her to church. I do not know why I accepted to do so on that day. Once in church, they preached repentance. I was pushed to be baptized. I did it in November 2015. Nothing happened. I took the Lord's Supper once and still, nothing happened. For me, it was nothing more than a ritual. The second time that I took the Lord's Supper, I started being confused. Something very strong urged me to speak, to confess. I resisted. A serious fight swelled up within me. Confess. No, I will not say anything. You cannot receive communion without confession. What would it profit me in exposing my life? But I could not resist the power. It was too strong a power. Confess. No, everyone will know that I'm a witch. What I do and it's going to spread in the neighborhood, in the city, you're going to talk. This voice was alive, it violently pushed me physically. You're going to talk. So I approached the people in the church. I did not even know where to start. Yet I started. I began by explaining that I had several boyfriends at the same time, 4 or 5. Then I exposed all my life, all I had done. I said everything to the pastor who was in this church, and this pastor prayed and prayed a day with me. Since that day, everything changed. It's only 2 months ago that I was converted at the time of this testimony. In the beginning, the spirits disturbed me very much. For the moment the pastor's prayers are working. I believe that the Lord Jesus protects me from these things today. Sometimes, things disappear from my house. I was directly threatened by the spirits with which I collaborated. I had given 6 years of my life to magic and witchcraft. I cannot assess the number of people killed and destroyed because of me. No one had forced us, we went out of our own will. 3 are converted among the 5 of us, 2 others are still there. Like me, the others have publicly confessed in their church all that we have done. Several churches were involved in the world of darkness. It was because of these churches that I did not believe that Christ was real and that the Spirit of God was real, since I saw them nowhere in those places that were supposed to belong to them. All that the pastors of these false churches guess actually come from witchcraft and not from the Spirit of God. They are working with the spirits. The spirits stand behind them and say all they need to know about this or that person. Spirits are their informants. In witchcraft, we use the Bible. The fact of holding a Bible in the hands does not prove in any way that one is really of God. Grace be with you all who have Jesus Christ as Master. Testimony of an ex-witch. Dear brothers and dear friends,